Hey guys, Jennifer here with the Family Fudge and welcome to Subscriber Lunch Sunday. Now I want to give a big thanks to all of you who've sent in your awesome lunch ideas. This week I have 4 super easy but delicious lunch ideas to share with you. Now if you'd like to see your idea featured, number 1, make sure you're subscribed. And number 2, you can send me your lunch idea using the link in the description box below. Now let's get started. This week I'm kicking things off with Elizabeth's lunch idea. She is 19 years old and is from Florida. Now, one of the reasons I chose Elizabeth's lunch is because she had a hot lunch idea that's been highly requested and I'm not sure I've ever made. For her lunch today, she requested a shepherd's pie. Now, I know this shepherd's pie might look a little bit different here in the US than it does in the UK, but both versions are definitely delicious. Now, if you're not familiar with shepherd's pie, here in America, we like to make it with beef usually. We also add veggies, gravies, and we top it with mashed potatoes. Now, I'm actually kind of short on time today, so instead of making this from scratch, we're gonna do a little taste test with the Trader Joe's frozen shepherd's pie. I've actually heard really good reviews on this and I can't wait to give it a try. Oh look you guys, right on the side of the package there's a little bit of a history about the origins of the traditional shepherd's pie. That's pretty interesting. It says that traditionally shepherd's pie is made with lamb. I don't think I've ever had it that way. Now back to this taste test. I'm gonna go ahead and peel this back just like the instructions say and pop it into the microwave. Now this is a good size frozen meal, so it's gonna take about 5 minutes. So while that's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the special treat. For Elizabeth's lunch today, she requested chocolate Rice Krispie treats. So what I decided to do is use this really interesting cereal. Now I found this at Walmart, but it says that it's imported from Mexico. So instead of Cocoa Krispies, this is Choco Krispies. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever tried this cereal. So to make these chocolate Rice Krispie treats, I'm just gonna swap out regular Rice Krispies for these chocolate ones. Now I actually have a separate video sharing how I make my special salted brown butter Rice Krispie treats, which are so good. I'll go ahead and link it down below if you wanna check it out. So basically you just melt your butter, you add your marshmallows, you melt those as well. I always like to add a little bit of salt. It really helps to balance out all that sweetness in there. And now that it's nice and melted, I'll add in the Cocoa Krispies and stir it all up. I have to say you guys, this is smelling so good. I can't wait to try it. There's just something about Rice Krispie treats. They're so simple, really easy to make, but they're really good and they totally remind me of being a kid. Of course, when I was a kid, it was my grandma making them, and when she made Rice Krispies, she would always roll them into a ball. So now that these Cocoa Krispies are in the pan, I'll go ahead and spread them out a little bit. Now I have a couple tips when it comes to making really good Rice Krispie treats. Number 1, to make it easier to spread out, spray your spoons with a little bit of nonstick spray. It'll spread out much nicer that way. And number 2, you want to gently spread it out into your pan. You don't want to press hard or really compact the cereal because then you'll be left with really hard Rice Krispie treats, which might cut the roof of your mouth, and that is not good. So now I'm going to go ahead and set those aside and I'm going to check on our shepherd's pie. Now so far this is actually smelling really good. Instead of having just ground beef in there, this one actually has shredded beef, which is kind of fancy. And I know this doesn't look like much, but I think that's because I chose to microwave this. If you put it in the oven, it would definitely get a little bit browned on top and might look a little prettier, but that would definitely take like an hour instead of just 5 minutes. So while it's still piping hot, I'll get it into the thermos of the lunchbox. You can see that there's corn in here and green beans, and these are really, really creamy mashed potatoes. I think this is gonna be good. So now I'll go ahead and get the lid on so it can stay nice and hot and then move on to the rest of our lunch. For Elizabeth's fruit today, she requested nectarines, which is not a fruit I buy very often and I'm not quite sure why because they're actually really tasty. I went ahead and cubed up this nectarine just so it would fit nicely in the lunchbox. And then for her vegetables today, she requested a combination of sugar snap peas and baby carrots. And I really like that Elizabeth added on here with ranch, of course. I'm right with you on that, Elizabeth. We love ranch with our veggies around here. I think I'll go ahead and add a few little panda picks into the nectarines just to dress them up a bit. And then I can move on to the snack and the treat. For her snack, Elizabeth requested pretzels, and I just happened to have this bag of goldfish pretzels on hand, so I'm going to go ahead and add those. Of course, these taste just like regular pretzels. They're just in the shape of a goldfish, which my kids definitely love. And then of course for the treat, we have those chocolate Rice Krispie treats. They turned out so well. They're still really fresh, so they're kind of sticky, but that's exactly how I like them. I'm just going to put one right down in here. And then for Elizabeth's drink today, she requested a strawberry banana smoothie. There you have it. There's Elizabeth's lunch. Up next, I have a lunch idea sent in by Daniel. He's 12 years old and is from Illinois. Now his lunch idea definitely caught my eye because it's another thing I've never made for lunch on these videos before. But since it sounds like a really yummy lunch, I'm going to try my best to make it today. Now the first thing I'm going to do is cook up some of this thin spaghetti. Now technically Daniel requested angel hair pasta, but I couldn't find that at my store. They only had thin spaghetti, so I'm thinking it's pretty similar. I don't know, you guys, let me know in the comments down below if you know whether that's the same thing or not. So now that the pasta is cooked and drained, I'm going to go ahead and melt a little bit of butter directly onto the noodles. I'm also adding a little bit of seasoning, some salt and pepper. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of basil. I really wish I would have had fresh basil for this. I think that would have been the best choice, but since all I have on hand is dried, we're going to go with that. Now, the very last ingredient is lemon juice. Now, I've actually had lemon juice on pasta before. It's really good. It definitely adds a nice, bright flavor to the dish. Now, I have to confess, you guys, when I was a kid, I never liked spaghetti with red sauce. It just was not my thing. So my mom would always leave some of the noodles plain just for me. And I'm going to say that this pasta with the lemon juice and the basil would make a delicious alternative for kids who do not like red sauce. Of course, now that I'm adult, I love regular red sauce, so don't worry. I definitely grew out of that. Now back to Daniel's lunch. I've got all of the pasta in there. I'm going to top it with a little bit of grilled chicken. I'm going to squirt a little bit more lemon juice on there, and it's good to go. Now it's time for the fruit and veggies. For his veggies today, Daniel requested a combination of sugar snap peas and carrots. And for his fruit, I'm doing a combination of mangoes and raspberries. Now, I recently saw this interesting idea where somebody used a different method for cutting mangoes, and I want to give it a try today. Basically, you take your mango and you cut it just like this, and then holding firmly, you run the mango along the side of a drinking glass, and it kind of scoops out all of the mango inside. Now, I was pleasantly surprised that this worked really well. I'll go ahead and do that to the other side of the mango. And now all I have to do is run my knife through these bigger pieces to create mango chunks. So here we have that combination of the mangoes and the raspberries. I think this looks like a beautiful combination, don't you guys? But there's one more step Daniel requested. To finish off his fruit, I'm going to add a little drizzle of honey directly on the top. Doesn't that look delicious? It makes the fruit really shiny, almost like candy. Now for Daniel's snack today, I'm going to do a combination of trail mix and goldfish crackers. For his treat, he requested Skittles. I'll go ahead and add just a few to the separate container. And then last but not least, for his drink, he requested mango nectar. And there you have it. This lunch is full of so many interesting and unique combinations. Our next lunch idea comes from Olivia, who is 22 years old and is also from Florida. It really seems like I've been getting a lot of lunch ideas from Florida recently. I'm going to start Olivia's lunch by making the main course first. So as you can see, I have 2 pieces of wheat bread here, and to these I'm adding a little bit of pizza sauce. Not too much, and I'm going to spread it out nice and thin. If you add too much, it kind of just squishes out of the sandwich and gets really messy. Just a little bit goes a long way. Now, what goes better with pizza sauce than mozzarella cheese? But for these sandwiches today, instead of using shredded mozzarella, I thought I would use some mozzarella slices instead. And I want this sandwich to be extra cheesy, so I'm going to go ahead and put one slice on this piece of bread and another on this slice of bread. Double cheese is fine with me. Okay guys, you can probably tell what I'm doing here because my next ingredient is pepperoni. And of course, I'm using the turkey pepperoni. I really prefer this personally because it's less greasy. But of course, you could make this sandwich with any kind of pepperoni you prefer. And I'm gonna add a good layer of pepperoni here. Probably about 9 or 10 slices. Now it's time to close up our sandwich. And just like that, it's grilled and melted to perfection. So basically we have a grilled cheese pizza sandwich. It's been a long time since I've made one of these, and you guys, trust me, if you're a fan of pizza, but you don't have all the ingredients to make regular pizza, this is definitely a good alternative. Very tasty and easy to make for sure. So now that this sandwich has cooled down quite a bit, I went ahead and cut it into quarters so that it would fit nicely in the lunchbox. And now on to the fruit. Just like all of our other lunches this week, Olivia requested 2 different kinds of fruit. Now, it might be kind of hard to tell, but I'm adding both apple cubes and pear cubes to the lunch. And I'll go ahead and decorate with a few cute little picks. To go along with this, I'm also going to be adding some baby carrots and some cherry tomatoes. I have the perfect little picks for the tomatoes. These are made to look just like tomato stems, so they're perfect for poking into these little tiny tomatoes. And then this pick is meant to look like the tops of a carrot, so of course I'm going to stick these into our carrots. These came out so cute. These are definitely some of my favorite picks. Next up, I'm adding Olivia's snack, which is chili cheese Fritos. And for the treat, I'm going to be adding some of these lemon Oreos. Now, I know not everyone's a fan of lemon, but I personally love lemon flavored treats, especially these Oreos. They are very good. So I'm just going to add a couple to this little container. But I have to say, you guys, I think every single one of the Oreos in this package were cracked or broken. It's like someone at the store must have dropped the entire package. I'm not sure what is up. At least they still taste good, right? And then the very last thing I'm adding to Olivia's lunch is a fruit punch pouch. Say that 3 times fast. Fruit punch pouch, fruit punch pouch, fruit punch pouch. Up next, I'm gonna be making Brooklyn's lunch idea. Brooklyn is 6 years old and she's from Texas. For Brooklyn's lunch today, I'm gonna start with her main course, which is gonna be a delicious salad with lots of different toppings. For this salad, I started by adding some romaine lettuce. Next, I'm adding some carrots, some grilled chicken, some homemade croutons, a few slices of black olive, and some shredded cheese. Now, I have to tell you guys, I'm really surprised with this cheese because this block of cheese has actually been in my freezer for about a month, and I pulled it out, defrosted it, but I wasn't sure it was going to shred like normal, but it totally does. This cheese tastes normal, it looks normal, so yeah, you can definitely freeze cheese. And then the very last item for Brooklyn's delicious salad is ranch. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the last of this Pioneer Woman ranch. I went ahead and put a little bit in a separate bottle. These are perfect to throw into a lunch. That way you can add it right before you eat it and your salad doesn't get all soggy. And now that our salad is done, it's time to move on to the fruit. I started by chopping up some fresh pineapple. And to go along with this pineapple, I'm also gonna add some watermelon. And instead of just cutting it in regular pieces, I decided to use my melon baller to make some watermelon balls. These turned out really fun looking, but you kind of have to force them into the lunchbox just a little bit. Get those right in there. And then to the watermelon and the pineapple, I'm going to add some really fun food picks that look like crayons. Now in this back section, I'm going to add a little bit of broccoli, and of course, some of this ranch will also go on the broccoli. That'll be a delicious combination. And in this little section that's left, I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up with goldfish crackers. Now, so far, so good with this lunch. It is looking awesome, but I still have to add some chocolate milk. Let me know in the comments down below if you prefer chocolate milk, strawberry milk, or no milk at all. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Now, for next week's video, I'm going to choose the lunch ideas from our friends in the Bunches of Lunches Facebook group. So if you're not already joined to our group, I'll go ahead and put a link down below so you can join on in. It's a really fun place to share your lunch ideas and get other lunch inspiration, so definitely join us over there. And I'll see you next time.